Hare Krishna, this Ramananda Gopal Das again. Um, Sorry for bothering you with your videos. I don't even know if you watch them, but I'm speaking just for making things to me sometimes more clear. It's like when you're giving a class, giving a presentation, uh, one learns the most by itself, I think. And yeah, so I speaking out to the blue. I don't know if anybody's interested, if it matters. It matters a lot for me, and if you listen, thank you for turning on. And um, was just thinking that uh, probably everybody knows, but we quite busy, we quite engaged and entangled in all this affairs in this Kali Yuga, in this modern world, with our technologies, with our uh, little things what keep our mind busy, but what keep us not really steady. The point is that we hardly can meditate when we look, or I guess in previous ages people were much more meditative, meaning uh, they did much less work or activities in the day than we do, that we try to squeeze in. So we do so many things at once. We try to multitask, and in this way we think that we are very, very important. But point is actually that we do nothing really. We just starting with something, doing one thing with one hand, and another hand we having our phones. We try to drive and contact people. um, so many different things we try to do at once. We listening to somebody in a conversation, maybe on the phone, and at the same time we writing something on the computer, looking something up or whatever. So we not really there in our lives. We just like sliding over it, and we never really have the concept of really meditating about what actually matters or what we actually doing. For example, in conversations, we use conversation nowadays just as a kind of, how to say, like sense gratification or something, where we just bubbling, we just um, try to communicate for the sense of connecting. um, what is good, it's fine, but mostly we using our words not very sensitive. We don't think so much about the things what we say, what to speak. Do we think of the person who's on the other end, who receives our message? So mostly we speaking out of the ego. We try to express ourselves, and this is our most important focus. But actually our focus should be more for sure we should express ourselves, but on the other hand we should really think of how does it come to the other person, how does it receive in that other person, what does our message do in the life, in the mind of another, of our opponent who's opposite of us, listening to us, right? So we not really considering what is it all about. It's more about our our own ego. Like you could say what I'm doing here. I don't know you. Most of you maybe not. Maybe we met somewhere. You came maybe to the temple or whatever. We met here and there. But I'm not really know what is really relevant for you. And my kind of so-called conversation, what is more like a monologue, is somehow blurred into the blue, and I don't know if this what I'm saying really matters something to you. It matters something to me. Therefore, I'm expressing it and hoping somehow I'm catching the nerve of anybody else out there, and maybe this gives some connection. But if you really look at old scriptures, like old conversations, if you read, for example, Mahabharata or something, like very ancient books, stories, and even in classical literature like Shakespeare or something like that, things what were said was much more to the point. You know, it were like deep conversations, right? Now you will say, okay, this is like poetry or something like that. It's not really day-to-day conversations. What maybe is true, but I guess because people were much more contemplating in their lives, because they didn't try to do so many things at once, uh, the meaning of the words were just more focused and conscious, like a warrior who aimed an arrow. If you fight as a archer, um, you have just unless you are Arjuna, who had a quiver what was never empty. But usually a normal archer, he has to consider to how to use his arrows. So each and every arrow has to be well pointed, well placed, and very consciously shoot. And there's actually a whole science, is a way of meditating by shooting arrows. Some friends of mine, they're doing this, and and this way it's like the same for us when we speak, or when we do any activity out there in the world what afflict other people. We really have to think of how does it affect, how does it end in the target, right? When we release our activity, when we release our arrows, when we release our words. So this is it's a very great science, actually, what requires meditation about our situation, but our meditation also what is our goal, what we try to achieve, and how does it end in the target, in this the receiver of our message or of our activities. So that's of course a very big subject, and one can speak lots about it. It was just some thoughts of mine, and the end of the day, this Saturday, in Simhachalam here, where we end the evening with a homa, a fire sacrifice for Lord Nrsingadev. And yeah, maybe it matters something to you. I would be greatly happy if I receive some response or something like that. What's your thoughts about this, or how you feel about things what I said. Can be critical, of course, but the only thing is we should try to be respectful, because this makes us actually humans. We should respect each other, and not only humans, each and every living entity, because we understand there's a soul inside. This is a servant of God, and it matters to God. So yeah, in that sense, I wish you all the best, and maybe see you maybe soon, or hear about something from you, or read something from you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.